Bryce Young's father, the high-profile quarterback that has arrived here in Tuscaloosa a couple of months ago. Craig, welcome to Tuscaloosa. I hope you're having a great afternoon, sir.
I am. Thank you for having me. I hope you're having a great afternoon as well.
Yeah, and I hope you're staying safe. It's a unique time in our country, and we're all trying to abide by it where we can play football in 135 days.
Absolutely. It is definitely a unique time, and yes, we're doing everything that we can to just kind of stay safe. I know myself and everyone else there, we miss football. We really can't wait till everything starts, and Bryce really misses it. But right now, I think that's not as important. There's a lot of people suffering, so I just want to make sure that we're staying safe and doing all the things we need to do.
Sure, and listen, we're always looking for different things to explore, and I think you already know this, but Alabama fans are very unique, very passionate. We love to talk history, but we also love to talk a little bit of past, and we kind of talk about the future as well. We spend 4 hours, 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year talking nothing but Alabama football, so you can kind of understand the passion and this fan base has. When did Bryce really develop an interest in looking at Alabama?
Wow, it's a great question. He was offered by Alabama, I think, his 10th grade year, and we had made interest in. So I think there's a picture. I think even on Bryce's Twitter way back, he has a selfie with Coach Saban. So by 10th grade, I mean, when Bryce initially committed to USC, I think Alabama was in the top. There's always been an interest. There's always been some contact. Now, obviously, when he decommitted from UCLA and ultimately decided to come to Tuscaloosa, that's really when he started to learn more about the program, just more intimately starting the program, coaching staff, and history, and it's a place that's second to none.
I'd love to kind of dive a little deeper into this because your background, as Eric explained a few weeks ago, and I found it kind of intriguing that you had talked with him back in August, but the article was released after Bryce. I think there was an agreement going in, is the way he explained. He said, listen, I wasn't going to publish the article until he got to Tuscaloosa to the discussion. But your experience of your side of things and what you do really helped us really understand that article and the amount of stress that's under a young man when he's going through the recruiting process. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. The recruiting process is it has a lot of ebbs and flows, and there's definitely an exhilarating time where it's really exciting. It's really an honor, and it's what a lot of these kids and frankly a lot of these parents think about, being what is desired by. But then as it becomes the attention increases and the pressure and expectations increase, it becomes really difficult because remember, as a 15, 16, 17-year-old, you're not developed mentally as mature as you will be as an adult, and there's so many other things that are pulling at you. And so a lot of times as we're still developing, to have to make life-altering decisions can be very stressful, especially when you're a youngster and you're trying to please and you have all these other things that are pulling at you. So it can be a time that can be difficult and can produce a lot of anxiety. And so we've seen that a lot now. So I know I think there's a big-time defensive lineman that just decommitted from Clemson. And there's just a lot of things about making these decisions.
So what was it about Alabama and Nick Saban and all the system that made you feel comfortable that maybe went against the trend of recruiting? What made you feel comfortable with Alabama and Nick Saban?
Wow, another really good question. Because obviously it's a process, especially when you're already committed to a program. And, we didn't take the decommitment lightly. It was very difficult for us. But to answer your question, what made us feel comfortable was once you come to Tuscaloosa, it's a special place. And, in Alabama and Birmingham and all the other places around, but Tuscaloosa especially, it's not just because a lot of times, especially from the West Coast, you think of Alabama as just a football power. But when you go inside the program, there's more. I mean, you see the attention to detail. You see the full program. You see the strength and conditioning. You see the nutrition. You see even a sports psychology component. But more than that, you see everybody that works with that program not only cares for the football players as players, but as student athletes and individuals and young men. So when I saw that amount of detail and that amount of the amount of work and resources placed into the program, into the student athlete, I mean, it was just someplace where I knew that my son could excel, and we felt comfortable in him even being that far away. And obviously that's ancillary, and obviously as a Bryce is also there to play football. And then when you see the offensive line, the weapons he would have, the system, and especially how Tua was utilized, and some of the things that Tua does well, Bryce does well. I'm not saying that Bryce is on that caliber yet, but saying that when looking at the offense, it's very similar to what Bryce ran in high school. And then also having a great relationship with Coach Sark and believing in him as a coordinator. And then again, once you sit down with Coach Saban and you understand what he's about, and having these talks, not just about football, about life and his philosophy, it's a no-brainer. Anyone that's blessed to have the opportunity to play there, you have to take it.
Craig, I'd like for you to go back to expand on what you were talking about with Tua. Obviously, record-setting quarterback here. I mean, Nick Saban went on Dan Patrick's show earlier today and said he may be one of the greatest in the NFL history, that he has a chance. He has that type of talent. But what was it about the offense? Because you did talk about it, but as you know, it's become attractive. Alabama offensively, quarterback to be able to throw it around, to be able to set records. What was it about the play that maybe was a perfect fit for Bryce?
There's a lot. Obviously, there's a lot with the RPO game, and Bryce is really good with that. Tua has a very quick release, and Bryce has a quick release. Some of the route concepts and some of the things that they're throwing, Bryce can do as well. So just it really for someone who can get rid of the ball quickly, who can process things quickly, and then also has a degree of mobility within the pocket. This offense is perfect, and I think when seeing that, and then Sark did a really good job as he had compared some of the throws that Tua's made and had a cut up of some of the things that Bryce was doing in high school, and they're very similar. So just the scheme and the verbiage was very similar to what he's run. So it was a really good fit.
What are your expectations, I guess, for year number one with Bryce here in Tuscaloosa?
My expectations are for him to compete, and anything outside of that, that's just kind of, that's in God's hands, and that will have to reveal itself. But my expectation is for him just to come in there, and compete, be who you are.
Well, when you look at Bryce, I think when we talk about the strength conditioning side of things, and I noticed. And I hope some of these reports were accurate out there, but that he had added quite a bit of bulk of just coming into the program and being in a college environment and different things. Is that still the case? Is he still able to maintain that?
Yeah. Well, if you saw our grocery bill, yes, he's able to maintain it. Because one of the great things about when you send your kid to school, especially a place like Alabama, where nutrition is great, and the food itself is amazing. Because sometimes he would, we're very close. So a lot of times he would when he was there, he would send me pictures of all the stuff that they were eating and how good the food was. So a lot of that weight gain was honestly just him eating. I mean, him just eating three times a day, working out, having a protein shake after his workouts, and just doing that. Because a lot of times in high school, it's tough to get them to eat, and he commuted a lot. So just being on a regimented schedule and working out, yes, he put on about 20 to 23 pounds of good weight. So, but yes, he has been able to maintain it. A lot of steaks,
which is expensive for the grocery bill, as you explained. I mean, I can do that maybe once every couple of weeks, so I understand completely. But it's a lot of fun, and I know we've kind of tracked that, and we were so excited. I mean, even back on Monday when we talked about it, we said we would be recapping A-Day, and we were all excited to see Bryce throw the football and spin it. I mean, we've just you kind of get excited here in Tuscaloosa about players, and you see that Bryce has got a extremely talented arm, and I think that kind of excites a lot of us here in Tuscaloosa. And as you will find out very, very quickly, it's a lot of fun to be able to follow these quarterbacks and to see what Sark's going to be able to do. Go into the side of things. What is Bryce able to do? Because he's back in California. He's not in spring, just as the university is shut down because of the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what's he able to do as far as training regimen every day?
Well, he was sent with the strength and conditioning coaches since then with the program. We're blessed where we have some room in our in our yard, and we have weights and he has bands. Also, he has access to a gym that when he works out, he literally is the only person there. So we're able to maintain social distancing. Also, there's a school next to us that has lines, so he's able to do his running, and then he still works out with his private quarterback coach. So we're able to do things and still maintain social distancing and still follow the mandates of our state. But he is working every day. He has a throwing component, a strength component, and running component every single day. Also, along with the team and the position meetings and also the film studies. So nothing's changed. Well, obviously, everything. Let me rephrase that. Everything's changed, but then again, as far as his work ethic, nothing has changed.
Hey, what has Bryce said about the new strength conditioning coaches? Because I think that's another thing that we've been exploring with Matthew Ballou and Dr. Ray, and we've played audio from Nick Saban, but from a coach and from a dad's perspective, what has been your kind of early thoughts on those two guys? Yeah,
I remember the first workout with the new guys, and he was just like, "Wow, this is definitely intense." I mean, he was exhausted, and not that the workouts with Coach Cochran weren't either. I mean, those were still great workouts as well. It's just, I think, just two slightly different philosophies. But to take a step back, he loved Coach Cochran. We loved Coach Cochran, and there was, obviously Coach Cochran has an amazing personality and was able to and had a great bond with the kids. So, but with the new staff, he loves them as well. Great relationship. It's just, I think it's more of a research and scientific approach to just kind of some of the things that they're doing, and but it's excellent. I mean, he really, really likes it.
It's going to be a lot of fun to be able to see him. Or it's a lot of commutes, I guess, for you guys from the West Coast over to the great state of Alabama. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. USC, I hope they're excited as we are. We feature a couple of riders out there, and we're all counting down this big rivalry. I guess that'll be a fun game for you guys as well. 135 days away. Yes,
we can't wait. Pretty ironic. I mean, but. We can't wait at just as a family, especially when we decided this is the direction we wanted to go. It's one of the things that we've been excited about. Can't wait to be a part of the whole game day festivities. Really was disappointed there wasn't an A-Day, but can't wait to just see the tailgate and all the things that go on with it. So it's going to be a very exciting time. Now, up to that point, Bryce has a lot of work to do, and he's got a lot to prove. But we're definitely excited about that game, and SC is much improved. So I think it's going to be a good game.
Final question, Craig Young here visiting with us, Bryce's father. The NFL draft is tomorrow, and Alabama once again is expected to possibly put 6 guys in the first round. And that's been a trend. Nick Saban's broke all kind of records with, putting players in the NFL draft. Does that come into the factor as a decision as a dad and looking at a high-profile quarterback? You look at a system that gets players ready. I notice people come in, they improve as players, they improve as young men, they grow as people, the system. But as the NFL, does that come into play when you've got a high-profile talented quarterback? I mean, do you look at it and say, hey, these guys do a really good job of taking players and developing them for the next level? Does that go into the decision making?
Absolutely, 1,000%, and not in the way where it's like, okay, we're bypassing a step and thinking, okay, having these NFL dreams that's clouding all of our judgment. But no, but absolutely, because a lot of reasons. One, that to the talent that you're going to have around you that you're going to be able to play with, because a quarterback's only as good. The quarterback gets so much credit. It's only as good as your offensive line, the defense that's putting you in great field position, the receivers, the coordinators, the play callers, all those things come into the performance. So you look at that. Then also you look at that also speaks to, if you're putting that many people into the league, what are your facilities like? What's the coaching like? And then the players that are attracted to play with you have the same similar mindset, where it's about winning national championships and position yourself to get drafted and be one of that next first rounder. So when making that final decision to come here, absolutely that was a factor. Also, along with the other things about Alabama being a great university and making sure you're getting your degree and being a great citizen and being surrounded with people like that. But that is something that was one of the that was big into our thought process and big into our decision to come, because you want to be playing in games and playing with people that are going to be playing on Sunday. You want to be playing on the biggest stage.
Well, and I'll just add this to it. When you walk in the football building in the off season, it's kind of like an NFL locker room, because all the NFL guys come back to T-Town and train, from Julio Jones, all of them. It's just fun to kind of walk through there and you see it. It's like an NFL locker room that they return because of the environment that is set up by Nick Saban, and the process continues. It seems like a lot of these guys have all-season homes here in T-Town and train in the facilities, because I've had players tell me, you go to the NFL, it's a good system, but when you go back to Alabama, it's the way that everything's set up, even the facilities compared to the NFL. Craig, thank you again. We're so excited to see Bryce play, and we were all excited about 15 days of spring practice, but we'll be excited the same when August fall camp arrives and we can see him spin the football here in Tuscaloosa. Thank you for giving us a couple of minutes of your time. We're excited to have him in Tuscaloosa, and we are excited to cover him for the next 3 or 4 years.
Thank you so much for having me. And so the people of Alabama and the Tuscaloosa around, thank you so much for the support and all the positive things that we've heard and said and even seen on social media. It means a lot to us. And as a family that has our son out there, we just feel that he's in good hands and he's in a great place in a great city. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for having us.
Thank you, Craig. Have an awesome and stay safe. Have an awesome day and stay safe. Thank you.
You too. Roll Tide.